Hello, everybody. Daily Clear here. And year 7 was actually a great year. No more huge disasters, and instead, a huge victory for MarshClan. So let's jump right into things with what happened early into Greenleaf. Newly apprenticed Lizardpaw was visited by Slumber Nettle in a dream. The starry warrior gave an ominous prophecy. Darkest night will bring a new dawn. In another clan, Tangle Clan, a deputy receives the very same words from another starry warrior. At the Greenleaf Gathering, Lizardpaw learns about Nightcatcher's vision, and together, the two are able to convince their leaders that the time to end Badgerstar's reign is now. Robinstar and a patrol of warriors joined MarshClan in an attack against DuneClan's camp, and together, they were victorious. The battle is ended when Basilfur charges in and rips away Badgerstar's few remaining lives. Cobrafang and Jackalspots flee as their leader is killed, while Stumpfreckle lays dead at the paws of Needlehope. Both fall to the dark forest. Geckoshade, wizened with age, steps up to lead the Broken Clan, with Lightstripe as his deputy, promising an era of peace for moons to come. Yes, Badgerstar is finally dead. All of this was a set of possibilities in a generator I put together, but unfortunately, another possibility ended with the first death this year. After killing Badgerstar, old and wounded, Basilfur's life came to an end after that blaze of glory. She's glad to finally be with the rest of her family again, and though she's sad to leave Talonblaze behind, at least she made the clans a safer place for those still alive. She wouldn't have wanted to die any other way. The only other death this year was Dripspots. She was bitten by a snake while trying to get it out of camp, and unfortunately, the venom was too much and killed her. That also means she left behind her apprentice Lizardpaw early in training, but we'll get to her later. So, on to the living, Reefstar is actually starting to gain some confidence. With the words of Eurostar's life fresh on her mind, she knew the time to fight had arrived, and led a successful battle against DuneClan with only one casualty, that being Basilfur, who'd actually been ordered to stay in camp. She's glad the rest of the year has been peaceful, with a tentative peace hanging over the territories, now that Badgerstar's dead, and neither Cobrafang nor Jackalspots has been spotted. She did have some trouble training a rowdy apprentice, though, but thankfully he's grown into a fine warrior, and she can take a break from training. Tony Pelt as well has had a bit of a better year, especially with Lupine Hair getting her name. She couldn't be more proud of her daughter, who even went on to have an apprentice of her own. Both of them had an apprentice this year, actually, with Tony Pelt training Crabpaw and Lupine Hair training a new face we'll get to later. On another note, Tony Pelt actually has a massive crush on Smarty Pants going on. With the deaths of both of their mates, they've found comfort in one another's shared experiences. I don't think she'll act on her feelings. He doesn't have nearly as big a crush on her, but it's nice to see she still has someone close to talk to. Both Sedgetuft and Popbash have been enjoying the much calmer year and watching the clan grow, even with a huge influx of apprentices this year, one of which was trained by Popbash herself. Sedgetuft has been able to step back this year with how many medicine cats the clan has, one of which is an apprentice and the other a new face. Flounderspots was surprised and delighted to learn Leopardpaw wanted to be a medicine cat and has been eagerly training the young Tom. Leopardpaw was born early in the year, actually son to Gibby and Skytuft, and though his sister wanted to be a warrior, he was far more interested in StarClan and learning to heal. Newflick is quite an interesting case. She hails from a distant clan, where towering obelisks reach for the sky and tales are told of ancient gods. She had always been curious about the rest of the world, and along with her two kids, she set off to find out. What she found was MarshClan, and Reefstar allowed them to join. Newflick is happy to share her knowledge of different herbs and remedies, and is settled in well. She's even got a bit of a crush on Reefstar going on. Her two kids trained hard and are excited to be warriors of the clan, finding this new place very interesting, and the conflicts between the clans quite strange. Their old home only had one clan, after all. With the war over and Badgerstar dead, Maitland has been hard at work making sure the peace holds. He's found Geckostar to be quite agreeable, so it hasn't been too hard, though the tension of the past is sure to stay for moons to come. As mentioned, Gibby and Skytuft had a pair of kits near the start of the year. Gibby even got to train an apprentice, Modelpaw. Overall, they've had a pretty great year and couldn't be more proud of their two little ones. I'm also glad Dewtree and Middle Clover can live on through the family tree, because Skytuft was the last of her family. And for some of the best news this year, One Dapple has found her way home. To say she's shocked and horrified at what she found would be an understatement, with Talonblaze being her only family left, so they've both been leaning quite heavily on one another. One Dapple is quite odd to find her apprentice has become leader of the clan, and couldn't be more proud, and both Talonblaze and her got apprentices this year. Though her home may have changed, One Dapple couldn't be happier to be back. The past year, Smarty Pants has grown more reserved. His usually playful demeanor has become more thoughtful and introspective, with all the time to himself. Thankfully, he's not all alone, because Beans has actually been making sure he doesn't spiral into his thoughts. He's actually gained a massive crush on the Elder, which I find pretty adorable. Rowan Strut's just been chilling, unbothered. They came out as non-binary this year, and he was he/they pronouns now, so that's cool. Not much else to say about him, though. They don't even have any crushes or crazy rumors going around. Just vibes. Sprucefoot is basically the exact same, honestly. They've been hanging out, chilling, no apprentices to train or battles to fight. Sprucefoot did adopt an abandoned kit later this year, though, who's now become an apprentice, so at least something's happened with her. Needlehope had a mixed year. She knew the battle was coming. She knew she would have to face her mother, but she had hoped it wouldn't have ended the way it did. She did what she had to, though. It was to protect her clanmates, and the rest of the clans. Reefstar seemed to know how badly the battle had affected Needlehope, and granted her an apprentice to focus on instead, Silverpaw. She's been quite a pawful to train, but Needlehope has enjoyed the feisty apprentice, and can't wait to see her grow into a fine warrior. Alongside her in training is Cloverbubble, and her apprentice Daisypaw, the kit Sprucefoot adopted. They've grown quite friendly, training their first apprentices together. For Daisypaw, though, in an ironic twist of fate, she's been cursed with allergies. Thankfully, that's never slowed down the bold little Molly, and she's quite happy she ended up in the clan. Literally nothing has happened with Mothbloom this year. He has existed in the background. At least Minksplash got an apprentice, Crested Paw, but neither have done anything this year. Fluffy Spirit and Green Days are basically in the same boat. Fluffy Spirit got to train an apprentice, Lizardpaw, but other than that, they're the broken code levels of background character, and I don't know why the game isn't doing anything with them. Pelican Knight has grown into a fine and confident warrior, and a surprise that came with age is her crush on Flounder Spots of all cats. One he doesn't reciprocate or even know about. She doesn't seem to mind, though. She's content to admire him from afar and continue being the best warrior she can. And the cat I forgot to include last year, because he showed up and didn't do much, Nibbles. He actually mentored Minksplash last year, and this year he was involved in the fight against Badgerstar. In fact, with his affinity for the Dark Forest, he's been hearing a lot of whispers from the three down there, Badgerstar, Stubbfreckle, and Lavender Dust. But he's a loyal warrior, and continues to ignore their words. A trio of new warriors, Crested Web, Crabquill, and Lizardtooth, have been doing great this year. Crested Web has grown into a fine, supportive clanmate with Minksplash's training, and though still nervous, Crabquill is glad to have the headstrong Tony Pelt as their mentor to help encourage them to speak up instead of cower. With the death of their mentor Dripspots, Lizardtooth ended up graduating a bit late, but Fluffy Spirit was a fine mentor to wrap up her training. And after her vision from Slumber Nettle that brought an end to Badgerstar's reign, she's been surprisingly humble about things, and hasn't been parading around her involvement at all. The youngest warriors, Mottletail, Brackenflare, and Frostspring, are quite proud of their new positions. Mottletail already has eyes on the deputy position, and with training from Gibby is confident in her abilities. Brackenflare is content just being a good warrior, and is happy to make his mentor Reefstar proud. She trained him well, to use words rather than teeth or claws, and he's glad for her influence. Frostspring as well is enjoying being a warrior finally, and is happy to boss around all the other cats as though he's been a warrior for moons at this point. Top Ash was a strict mentor, and that was a big influence on him. Beeflood is the newest outsider of the clan, a loner driven from their home by rival cats competing for food. She hasn't been here long, but she's been friendly and open with the clan, and happy to help out maintaining the camp. The two remaining apprentices this year are Downpaw and Rosepaw, who have both unfortunately been held back from becoming warriors alongside their siblings. While out on patrol, Downpaw spotted a cat struggling with the raging river after a heavy storm. Despite his mentor Wondapple's worries, he rushed in to try and help, but only succeeded in being bashed against a rock and nearly drowned. Wondapple, Talonblaze, and Rosepaw were able to pull him from the river, and after moons of recovery, he's left with a crooked jaw. He doesn't seem to mind, though, and he thinks of it as a permanent reminder to stop and think rather than rush headlong into danger. A story he can't wait to scare rambunctious kids with. Rosepaw then decided to hold back her warrior ceremony, so Downpaw wouldn't be left alone in the den, something he's very grateful for. And that wraps up Year 7 of MarshClan. Quite a bit happened this year, with quite a few new cats, and Badgerstar's reign of terror is finally over. Pretty funny how TangleClan managed to be completely uninvolved in everything for 7 years, until the main character Nightcatcher finally decided to join the plot. I'm curious to see how DuneClan acts next year with Geckostar as leader, and if Cobrafang or Jackalspots, or even the Dark Forest Cats decide to cause trouble. Leave your own thoughts in the comments below, I'd love to hear them. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you next time.